Could there come a time and a place where a pair of nunchucks would be more preferable to have than a firearm, a sword, or some other gigantic weapon? Presented by Defunkin and Capketo.com. Why use a nunchuck in a combat situation rather than a gun? You have to understand the law, and I am not advocating anyone to break any laws anywhere. If you decide to break the law, then that is your personal decision. Remember, what we are talking about is a situation where lawlessness and chaos reign. For example, it was brought to my attention by my friend Anatoly that asked, why would it be more sensible to use a pair of nunchucks rather than a firearm of some kind? Well, there are many reasons why. Here are only a few. Let's say you have no access to a firearm. You can't get bullets. How about you can't purchase or own one legally because of your age, but want an effective way to protect your family? Maybe your personal religious beliefs prevent you from owning or using a firearm. Possibly your criminal background or medical history. Compare this list with what happened to many innocent folks in New Orleans during Katrina. The first thing that the authorities did was take away the legal firearms from people who were just trying to protect their homes and families. It is a fact of life that one day you won't have access to a firearm, and you might be forced to use another type of weapon to protect you and your family. What weapon would you carry in a scenario like Katrina when military and police are running around trying to keep order? How are the police or military going to know who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Put yourself in their place. Let's say you are a police officer and you are walking along and you see someone carrying a 5-foot sword on their back. Now, what are you going to do with that? Of course, you know that this is a trouble waiting for a place to happen. The guy could be innocently carrying the sword to protect his family, his children, his little dog, or whatever possessions that he has. Well, a cop won't know that, and all he knows is that he sees a person carrying a sword. The point is that there could come a time and a place where a pair of nunchucks would be more preferable to have than a firearm or a samurai sword or some other gigantic weapon that is impossible to conceal or carry, which also leaves your hands free to perform. In my opinion, if I can't carry a gun, which is obviously the ultimate weapon, the two tools that I would have on my person would be a buck knife as well as a pair of nunchucks. This article is about the why and how in the use of nunchucks. The why and how to use a knife and a gun will require separate conversations. A pair of wooden nunchucks tied together with a string is very light and can be hidden easily in a variety of ways on your person. A knife can be hidden just as easily as could a handgun, but that's not the point. Remember, having a handgun may not be possible and bullets may not be available, or maybe the police will have already confiscated it. It just might be possible at some point that you need a pair of nunchucks to protect yourself. In order to protect yourself, you need to know how to use them, and you need to practice with them to know how to use them. What's worse than having a weapon you don't know how to use? It comes back to, if you don't know how to use a weapon of your choice, it is useless to you. If you don't train to learn how to use the nunchucks effectively, you might as well go into a combat situation with two bananas tied together by a string. There is nothing more real than a solid object, in the blink of an eye, hitting multiple targets including the skull with 1,800 pounds per square inch. I demonstrate the technique and how to train to be able to do this in How to Use the Wooden Octagon Nunchucks in a Combat Situation, downloadable on capketo.com. Remember that nunchucks can be used for other things besides high-impact blows, such as locks, throws, and takedowns. Unlike with the knife, and depending on your expertise with the nunchucks, you can control the level of mayhem to some degree. You can have varying degrees of control over an opponent who's trying to do you harm depending on your proficiency. I have also been asked by some, why would you train how to break stuff with the nunchucks? Remember the reason why martial artists break things. It is to show focus and power. Just like the Japanese samurai warrior who practices the art of cutting. If you want to see a free demonstration of the focus and power of the nunchucks, visit our YouTube channel. Don't make the same mistake everyone else does. Follow your own path. If you like this article, please like it, and don't forget to share it with someone you know that might need it. Remember, always be a seeker of knowledge. Check out the archives at capketo.com.